time it is!
Thanks for checking out the C-Squared Hour. This is your Inauguration Day special. Don't worry, folks. I'm not doing it live. I learned my lesson last time. We've talked about this. I just waited till after it was over. So I'll get into that a little bit further. As I do on every show, I'm going to tell you what I'm drinking for this episode. I am drinking Apocalypse IPA from 10 Barrel Brewing Company out of Bend, Oregon. I know a couple times I've drinking what they call their pub beer, which is basically they just put a black label on a can, says pub beer, and it is a fantastic lager. So I thought, man, may as well try the IPA. And it is not treating me too bad. I am a big fan of this. So yeah, check it out wherever you are in the Northwest or wherever you can get it. 10 Barrel Brewing. This is the Apocalypse IPA. If you prefer, I'd say, I don't know if lighter is the right word, but yeah, I guess lighter IPAs. This is definitely a good one for you. All right. And my listeners, I know they're going to be asking me, where is the other Chris? And what he wanted to do, he saw the Capitol riots, and he was very disturbed by them. Very, very disturbed by them. And what really struck him was the lack of security. Well, he was worried about what potentially could happen at this inauguration. You know, if you're that upset, you know, when basically Trump just says he gave up, and you're not going to, you could only imagine what it would look like when he was actually inaugurated. So he's over there. He was volunteering his services for security. I know vigilante security guards aren't the most respected thing. So I hope he didn't get in trouble trying to do it. I hope everyone took it the right way. I hope the Capitol Police or National Guard or whoever, I guess Secret Service now, whoever was watching over that, didn't take it personally. He was off doing that. Now, I have a bone to pick with my listeners here. I don't like doing this. But when you guys fuck up, you fuck up, alright? I've been asking for weeks, maybe even months, about getting that batshit crazy guy, Lucas Werner, on my podcast. Is it a good idea? Should I try it? Would it come off in the wrong way? Would people understand it as a joke? Not enough of you fuckers are getting back to me about it. Not enough. Well, I'm going through my Instagram and his YouTube the other day, and by God, what do I see? 2 other podcasts that have him on there. But it turns out, since then, he's gotten a big head. He will only do podcasts or up to 5 minutes insults or some shit, some of his comedy or whatever he says he does. He will do that for $50 or a nice meal through Grubhub. That's his fee. $50 or a nice meal through Grubhub. So I'm not going to start paying guests. I don't think I'm ever going to pay guests. It just seems weird. It seems, I don't know. It seems like if you're paying guests, you're just trying too fucking hard. So hopefully I'll get to the point where I just get, real guests who just want to be on here, because I'm such a fun guy. But if you jagoffs would have gotten back to me earlier, I could have had him on before his price skyrocketed to $50 or a nice meal on Grubhub, which is what he says. Find out about his fucking getting sent down to LA for no reason. So you guys all fucked up. So I'm a little upset with you. And I didn't want to go into that too much, but I felt I had to. Now, what's quickly becoming a new favorite segment or staple of this fantastic podcast, I want to go into the too late analysis of something I've seen. Again, I'm taking things that people talked about years ago or that people watched years ago that no one gives a fuck about anymore. And I'm going to give my quick little analysis of it before I really get into the meat of my show, if you will. So, I don't know how many of you remember the Netflix documentary talking about the Amanda Knox story, the broad from Seattle who went to study abroad in Italy and ended up getting charged with murder and spending 4 years in there and then getting out and, coming back, and then they try to get her again. Whatever. There's a whole bunch of shit, right? Biggest things I took from that. And there is a small possibility, I already did this looking back at my notes, but if I did, I like this bit anyway, so you guys might enjoy it again. What that documentary did wrong. They talked about how hot she was and how attractive. If you're going to do that in the show, you gotta get better pictures and video of her. In the entire documentary, the best look at her, she was 6 or 7 at best. At best. So all this, oh, look at how hot she is. Oh, Foxy. No, she really wasn't. Not in any things you were showing. So basically you were just trying to say, oh no, look, she wasn't that hot. Or I don't know what the fuck you were trying to do, but if you're trying to sell her as this sort of, this smoking hot American girl who comes over, you gotta show the better pictures. You gotta show the better videos. Like I said, at best, 7. That's being kind. Granted, this is coming from a 3. So, who am I to say anything? But I know that. I'm not sitting there going up on Facebook, or I guess it was MySpace at the time, saying, look at how hot I am. I'm not having people write about me, talk about how hot I am, and no. If you're gonna sell that, get better video, get better picture. I don't want to hear it if, at best, you look like a 6. There is my first thought on that documentary. The next and only real thing I felt like sharing was, before we jump down the American justice system's throat too much, regardless of how fucked it is, regardless how much we hate it, look at that case. Look at that documentary. What are they doing in Italy? They go after the foreigner, the American. They go after the black foreigner, the restaurant owner. I don't know if he was foreign or not. And then they go after the other black guy. So even in Italy, the 3 suspects, foreigner, black, and black. That's what we do here. So maybe the American justice system isn't the problem. Maybe every civilized society's justice system is the problem. It happens everywhere, folks. So let's go ahead and, step away from the edge. Step back, people. Everyone does it. All right. So, yeah, anyone who remembers that documentary or wants to go back and watch it, just take this to heart. Remember, they may not be showing the best pictures and video of her, but honestly, basically a 7 in that whole thing. And yeah, America is just as bad as other countries. There's my analysis. I'm covering a lot of shit early here, because later I'm going to be talking about the inauguration, and it's going to be a big thing. Again, don't worry, I don't go too deep into it. I know there's fucking 3 months of coverage on every channel, so there's no need for me to go into it in depth. I'm just going to give you what my layperson, getting up in the morning and laying in bed, watching the inauguration, trying not to fall back asleep, and what I took in between all those. So that's going to be my inauguration coverage. I don't know when this came out, but I did just watch a show on Hulu from Investigation Discovery titled Who Killed Epstein? It was a 3-part show. Now, I don't know if they just needed to fill in everybody for contract, or they needed to make sure they get more thing, more advertisements. Again, or, just everyone they had was on contract, so they had to, make sure they got enough people in. But really, I could have written that show. You ready? Here you go. Investigation Discovery. Who killed Epstein? ... The Clintons. Story over. There it is. There is the entire show. I don't know why there was 3 parts to it. Why there needed to be 3 hours worth of that. Honestly, that's who did it. In my personal opinion, of course. You see, you have to say that so you don't get sued or anything like that. This is just my opinion. And, this is completely satirical and, that's nothing. But that could have been very easily done. Who killed Epstein? 3 hours worth of just something that's doesn't need 3 hours worth of 3 hours for a 2-word answer. Maybe that's why I couldn't write shows, because that's exactly what I would have done. Oh, let's do a special called Who Killed Epstein? Okay, what are we going to do for the next 59 minutes? Oh, I'm sorry, 2 hours and 59 minutes. Oh. Yeah, what are we going to do for then? Is there, like, cold case files or whatever stupid murder shows we have on this channel? Any more of those to play? I just found that interesting. Big news coming out of the golf world. Justin Thomas is apparently a hateful man. He missed a putt, and he called himself a slur that is meant to discriminate against gay people. All I know is I hope I don't get famous enough to have a microphone on me, because I call myself way worse on the golf course than what Justin Thomas said. Honestly, if a principal heard what I call myself on the golf course, it would get myself suspended. Expelled even. With how mean I am to myself. So, yeah, he just got caught on a mic, calling himself something that probably shouldn't have called, and probably didn't even realize he did it till after he... But, yeah, so, hateful guy. Ralph Lauren announced they were his clothing sponsor. Ralph Lauren announced that they dropped him from their sponsorship, which, yeah, you have to. You're a fashion company. Your target demo are the ones who could potentially be upset by this. If, they just looked at the transcript and didn't understand where again, I'm not sure if I'm the best one to, say, why he should. But if you watch it back and you watch how it's said, he's clearly not being hateful. He's clearly not. So I hope it doesn't go too far. Because yes, he called himself something that isn't very woke and isn't very nice and probably could and did offend a bunch of people. I get that. But it wasn't done in a hateful manner. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but he wasn't trying to disparage anybody. He just called himself a uncouth name. Again, like I said, I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm saying before everyone jumps down his throat, before all these groups call him a hateful bigot who should go back to wherever he's from and never, talk again. Look at the context. Tell him, hey, you probably shouldn't say that word. You probably shouldn't call yourself that. And let's move on. Of course Ralph Lauren has to drop him. They're a fucking fashion company. Of course they have to drop him. But I hope it ends there. I hope he made a pretty good apology. In fact, he made a bigger apology than I thought he even needed to or should have. So I hope this is one of the few cases where it stops where it should. If that makes any sense. He didn't say it to disparage a group of people. He didn't say it against anyone. It wasn't who versus. No, it was a stupid name he called himself that he shouldn't have done. But he's not being hateful. Alright, so before we jump down anyone's throat, I don't know. I know I said that absolutely terribly. I hope my point got across. That wasn't the best. I have these points down, and I thought about this, I thought about this for like a good, looking back on it, total since this happened, probably a solid 2 hours. I thought about this, and I had such a great idea, and then I start talking, and then I realize I sound like a cunt, and then I, try to backtrack, and I don't know. All I'm trying to say is, unlike a Twitter thing, or where you can't read tone of voice, or you can't read, sarcasm or things like that. It's just unpredictable. They caught him on mic. He clearly wasn't being hateful to a certain group of people. So the people he offends, let them be offended, but let's not try to get rid of this guy because that's not what he was trying to do. All right? Yes, a fashion label has to drop him, but they have to do that. I don't mind that. But, in fact, I don't mind if all of his sponsors drop him. That's what they have to do. If that's what they have to do for their stockholder, they have a responsibility to their stockholders and their customers and things like that. If they're going to lose business based on that, then go ahead and drop him. But the rest of us assholes just need to sit back and let that happen and not try to, let's not tweet at the PGA Tour, go after the PGA Tour. We could never let this guy. Really, you've let much worse people play on tour. You've let much worse. Look at Angel Cabrera, who's beating the shit out of everybody across South America. I don't see you running, beating up women. I don't see you fucking running on, take away his major championship titles, or let's put an asterisk next to it. You're not saying that for that shit. So if you're gonna jump down his throat, let's start with the worst crimes, huh? Or, here's an idea. Let's start with the crimes. Christ, I hope that sounded okay. I'm going to have to listen back to it. And really, I went on too long to cut it out or retape it or whatever. I hope I made sense. That was not... I had a much better idea before I flipped the microphone on what I was going to say there. So, and for some goddamn reason, I don't feel comfortable or like going back and just re-recording it because it's a podcast. You don't have to put up... Well, yes and no, but kind of what I'm kind of going for on the show, and I'm hoping what's endearing me to some of my listeners is the fact that this is kind of a uncut look into the mind of an unstable man who's able to walk around your neighborhood and still be able to function like a normal person. That is who I try to come across as. And if I cut out all the shit that didn't go exactly how I wanted to, or didn't go, or I wrote this down and it didn't, guess what? Then some of my charm, I would say, is lost. So you're welcome. I'm willing to sound like more of an idiot so you guys get to bask in the charm that is me. Alright, before I go into the inauguration stuff, it's been a couple weeks. Saw you this weekend, didn't do anything, so before we get too far in this, I gotta let you know, Randy, the invitation is still there. Let's go, bud. I'll go 10 rounds, going 3-minute rounds. We're not going headgear, but Randy, let's lace them up. Let's meet at the center of the ring. Like I said, I'll go 10 3-minute rounds. I'll even get talked down to 8. I'll go 8 rounds with you, buddy. But we're going to be doing this, right? Right? I'm still waiting. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to continue to call you out because quite honestly, you haven't given me a reason not to. The only way I will stop calling you out is if you publicly, very publicly, I don't know how you do it any more publicly, maybe an ad in the newspaper. Wait, no, that's not a thing anymore. If you publicly announce that you're my bitch and you couldn't handle me in the ring, then I will stop. But until then, the offer is there, and let's lace them up, bud. So, got that out of the way. I had to. And hey, that wasn't me bumping the microphone. That was me opening a beer and dropping my bottle opener. Alright? I gave myself a lot of shit last week about bumping the microphone. I didn't do it there. So before you jump down my throat on that one again, fuck off. Man, I'm in another goddamn mood. That time I did bump the microphone. I'm in another goddamn mood. You know what? I just realized I didn't light my lavender candle. No wonder this room has bad juju in it. Definitely feel it, can't you? Can't you feel my underlying hostility that's coming out? Obviously, since I waited a day to do this, to watch the inauguration, I guess I have to talk about it, right? So, I guess the first thing they really showed through the whole thing, the first big thing that was Trump getting on the plane to his, last flight on Air Force One down to Mar-a-Lago to, I don't know, sit by a pool or whatever the fuck they were saying he was going to do. I was watching on CNN, so there was definitely an underlying tone through the whole thing. So if I come across like angry or feeling like something, just know that I got a very biased look on what I was watching. All right, I know what I saw wasn't 100% straight down the middle. And let's see. Yeah, so Trump basically just said, he'll be back and thank you for everybody. And he left Biden a note, which is, I guess, one of the things, but supposedly he's supposed to still be there at the inauguration that he's not going to do. Anyway, again, he called coronavirus or COVID. He called it China virus, which, as you know, I've been trying to get Asian AIDS and Chinese AIDS going. So the fact that the 45th president of the United States calls it the China virus, I feel semi-good with that. Again, I'm not going to say the name because it's very controversial. I'm not going to say the name of the president. I'm just going to say that a former president is on board with my analysis of what this global pandemic really is. And as I say that out loud, I'm not a big fan of myself. I didn't have much really to say about Biden's speech. It seemed pretty generic. We're gonna have to call for unity. Yeah, that's what you're gonna have to say after what the fuck happened the last, I would say, 6-7 years. I would even go further back than just the Trump presidency. I'd go a little further back. I think it definitely didn't start with Trump's president. Trump becoming president was the result of what this nation needs to cure. It was the result of disillusionment from each side and the big separate where one group, I don't know what the fuck I'm trying to say. I'm saying is Trump wasn't the initial cause, he just made it worse. That's what I'm saying. It started long before Trump even announced he was running for president. But he made it worse, and he shined a giant spotlight on it. And so, of course, Biden has to announce in his speech, well, we need unity. Well, guess what, homeboy? You've been in there for 40 fucking years. You could have done something before this, too. I'm not one of those jackass who's like, oh, you've been in there for 60 years and you haven't done... Well, I mean, yeah, maybe your record isn't outstanding. And my favorite line in any of the debates was Trump saying, I've done more in 36 months than you did in 36. That was one of my favorite debate lines, even though I didn't necessarily agree with it. But here's your chance, I guess. The only thing that really struck me from the inauguration speech, the Biden speech, and I don't know if this was in his actual speech or his address a little later, but he wants to have every kid back in school in 100 days. Now, I don't know if I first noticed this watching House of Cards, but why does every fucking president have to give a guarantee in 100 days? First of all, what's so great about a fucking 100 days? Honestly, like, it's not a month. It's not 2. It's not 3 months. Why 100 days? Again, does that count, weekends or, holidays or whatever? Stop with this 100-day promise and say, hey, if you're going to make a 100-day promise or a 2-month promise or a 3-month, give us a fucking date. It's like, in the next 100 days, I want to get our kids back in school. If you're going to make that strong of a declaration or that strong of a goal, make it even stronger. If not, just say, first thing I want to do is blank. If you don't know how long it's going to take, don't throw out this number that well, hopefully by day 75, if I can't get this done, everyone will forget. Why 100 days? Give a date or don't. And yeah, I look back on it. It was House of Cards where the president, I want to give a education thing in the first 100 days. I'm like, I've heard that a lot. And I've noticed that there's a lot of guarantees in the first 100 days from incoming presidents and things like that. So I don't know what's so special about that. I mean, it's the round number, obviously. Yes, I know. It's a nice round number. It's a century. It's a perfect... Yes, I know that part of it. I don't know why it matters on a fucking calendar. I was happy, however, I guess I was happy, but less entertained in the fact that there was not a whole lot of citizen commotion during all this. You had the Trump supporters at the airport whisking him off to Florida. Besides that, there really wasn't a whole lot of citizen interruption or citizen involvement or anything to really, shine a light on, a fight or a attempted, breakdown or whatever. That really, I was a little proud and a little disappointed. Because if you're going to storm the Capitol for no goddamn reason other than, I don't know, you didn't like something that was said or whatever. If you're going to storm the Capitol for that, I mean, you guys have a real reason to be upset. Like, we could point to why, okay, yeah, they're having a demonstration because of this. But you fucking blew your load too early. As a, I guess, content consumer, I was a little annoyed that there wasn't as much citizen involvement or, protest or, anything along those lines. As a citizen and as I was somewhat happy to see that, maybe not everything has to be a fucking deal anymore. Or, hey, at least we had one day where this shit's going on and somebody in a bear suit doesn't try to tackle a cop. I honestly wasn't sure what to expect. I wasn't sure, and I didn't know till afterwards if I was going to be happy or sad with the lack of citizen interruption. And I was okay with it. I'm still on the fence. As someone who wanted to see some drama, a little upset. As someone who was a bit tired of all this fucking nonsense where if something doesn't go your way, you have to storm stuff or beat up cops or steal podiums or light your nuts on fire or burn down buildings. I was okay with it. So, and like I said, I was watching CNN, and what they did before Biden's speech, they were showing how he was in church and how he's a devout Catholic and how he's only the second Catholic president behind Kennedy. Didn't go too well for that one. But he, even on the campaign trail, he stepped aside to go to church. And they bent over backwards to praise that he's a man of faith. Okay, say what you will about it. However, this same network has had political pundits on there shaming and disparaging other politicians for religious views and for potentially, he could be potentially voting based on Bible, not based off law and based off. Okay, well, you're looking at a guy who clearly is in that same boat, and you're not even one, and I couldn't tell you which one said it before. Christ, I couldn't even tell you if whoever said it before still works there. So this might not be the most fair analysis, but I don't care what side you're on. If you have ever been concerned about somebody governing to the religion and not to the law or not to the people or whatever, because I will honestly say it probably comes up more from people on the right than it does on the left. It tends to be that the right is a little more religious than the left, or a little more intense about their religion. Now, and I guarantee you there has been anyone who leans left or leans centrist, anyone who leans either way, definitely has been annoyed by political people saying, well, I don't worry about the law. I let the Bible tell me, where to vote. People have been upset about that. Well, guess what? Just because he's on your side of the fence doesn't mean that shouldn't be brushed aside. CNN bent over backwards, it seemed, to praise him being a man of faith, even though they've, from what I've seen, plenty of people on the left have been upset that, well, he's governing to his faith, not to what the law is, or not to what the best of the people is. Well, one or the other, bud. Pick one or the other. Also, I did notice quite a few people on the CNN mentioning the attire of Vice President Harris. They mentioned what her dress looked like, or I guess it was a pantsuit, or I don't fucking know. But they did mention, what she was dressed like and what color she was. CNN, I hate to tell you this, but that hardly seems woke. You'd really think with everything going on, especially CNN speaking to the side that doesn't like that sort of, doesn't like, don't mansplain and don't, it doesn't matter what I dress like, it's about the job. And you're speaking to those people. I'm waiting to see, because it was definitely noticeable for me. And like I said, I'm stupid. So I'm waiting to see if there is any sort of backlash from Wolf Blitzer and John King and that whole group. I don't know which one was mentioning it, and I know there's more than one of them. That whole group who was covering it, they had to mention how she was dressed. They had to mention that a few times. Well, you didn't mention his fucking tie. Why not? Maybe it's because you guys are full of shit. Maybe it's only offensive when it's someone doing it against you and not. I don't know. She was apparently her wearing a purple suit was some sort of symbolism or some sort. I don't fucking know. All I know is you're full of shit. If you're going to be on a high horse about shit like that for the last 4, 6, whatever years, if you're on the high horse when it comes to like the cancel culture shit and things like that, you might want to check what you're saying about it. It's funny. You watch after his speech and they bring him in and all you see is him walking in a circle around this building and, oh, look, here's a piece of art we're showing you. Here you go. The monarchy ain't fucking dead in this country. We just changed the fucking name. He walks through like, oh, here's a painting we donated for this special occasion. And, oh, here, you come over here and you'll receive, here's a gift from the House. And here's a gift from the Senate. And here's basically, he walks in a circle and looks down at all his subjects. That's all today was. Oh, yes, thank you for this vase. Yes, I shall put it in my humble abode. The king's manor. It's the same fucking thing, only we pretend to pick them. But yeah, oh, here's a gift for you, my liege. He walked around getting gifts and, just, oh, look. Yes, this suits me. They tried hard not to do it, but go back and watch. It's on YouTube. Go back and watch him receiving his gifts or receiving his paintings. And just tell me if that doesn't strike you so fucking British, or I guess old school British, Game of Thrones, Renaissance-y king sort of. Tell me if that doesn't strike you that way. Yes, you won, so here is your vase. I hope this will find you well, and I hope that our future... Fuck off. Anyone who thinks that the monarchy is dead is a goddamn idiot. Or you know what we do? These are, this is what the tradition is, and this is what the... Maybe we stop with fucking traditions. Traditions are bullshit. They're only traditions because the only reason it's a tradition is because you can't justify why you do it. Why do you guys do that? Well, it's a tradition. Okay, well, then let's stop doing it. You can't. It's a tradition. Well, who cares? Why do we need... Why? And honestly, these fucking crystal engraved vases, taxpayer money, obviously. So why don't we just say, hey, let's not do this? But because it's a tradition. Tradition says we... Okay, well, tradition's bullshit. Maybe that's just it. Maybe it's not the... Maybe I'm not thinking it's the monarchy. Maybe I'm just annoyed that it's like, who thought this is tradition? Well, traditions suck a big cock. How's that sound? And if any year's the fucking year to stop a bunch of this nonsense, these traditions like, oh, here's 2 crystal vases, and here's all this we have to give you, and the president's the outgoing president. If there's any fucking year to stop that, this is the year to say, hey, look, swear me in, we'll get this going, The whole Asian AIDS thing's going on, the election was fucking weird, let's just get this fucking over with, and let's get to work. No, we still have to give you your vase, and we still have to... It ain't dead, they just changed the names. Going back to the awards, or I don't think this was the award. No, this was her introducing introducing Biden for his speech. Amy Klobuchar, stop trying to be funny. I don't know who in your life or who has told you that you are humorous. You're not. You're awkward as hell. I remember your campaign, trying to, I'd like to see how your hair would fare in a blizzard. And you tell that joke 20 fucking times, and it barely got a laugh. And the 30th time you told it, Bill Maher told you to shut the fuck up. So, stop pretending like you're funny. No one thinks you're funny. Except the people around you who have to laugh or they get fired. You're not funny, you're awkward. Go into some random room, some random bar, some rather random gathering. I know you can't do that till the vaccine gets to everybody. But go to some, and then just try to see what happens when you spin some of your yarn. See what happens when you really get going on your little jaunts and whatever you have to do. See if when people don't know who the fuck you are. See if people still laugh at your dumbass jokes or your dumbass sassiness. You're just fucking annoying. Just stop. Know your place. It ain't on a comedy stage. So quit trying to turn everything into it. God, that broad bugs me. It's just the lack of self-awareness just bugs me. Read the room, bitch. But say what you want about Mitch McConnell, and I am not a fan of him one bit. But that fucker, when he's speaking, gets from A to B to C. That's all he fucking does. He was presenting flags or some shit like, as is tradition. He was presenting whatever he was supposed to. And yeah, he had a little aside, and he went aside to what he's presenting and why, and did it. Then Pelosi gets up there, and she just fucking talked in circles without saying anything, trying to match McConnell's wittiness, or trying to... She talked about probably... it wasn't that long. It was probably a minute and a half. But she said about 15 seconds worth of shit, where McConnell talked for about a minute and a half, and about a minute of it was, worthwhile. And just, like you could have cut out his 30-second aside or whatever. So that's where, I think that's where the hatred comes from, for Pelosi and for Klobuchar and for even going back to like Jeb Bush or Andrew Yang or Marco Rubio or all these people. They just don't it's not everybody is in your circle. Not everybody is just going to suck your asshole because they have to. And you get too many people around you that are just going to do that. And so you get people like Klobuchar who think she's the funniest thing since Richard Pryor and is going to try to. Or you get people like Pelosi who are going to talk and talk and talk in circles, and everyone's going to tell you, oh, great story, Nancy. Or you get Jeb who are going to, give a speech and then say, oh, no, you're supposed to clap there. And the people who work for you are going to clap there, but then you look like a douche when you get in front of everyone else. So, really, I think every politician who's trying to get on a national level needs to get, their campaign manager needs to be just some random person that when they're doing something stupid, just tells them to go fuck themselves. I'm going to tell this joke, the fuck you are. Not if you want me to stay on staff. Well, I mean, that's all I really got. Like I said, I didn't go too deep into the inauguration. Other people are going to be doing that. So, this weekend we had NFL playoffs. I guess I'll wrap up with that, give you my analysis of the games. And Mahomes, when he got his concussion, Mahomes went down in that game versus Cleveland, right? And it was, well, it better be a concussion, because the last time I saw legs that week on a football player was Steve Gleason, and he's in a wheelchair. So it's either concussion or you're done forever. He went Ryan Shazier for 20 seconds. So he had to go out of the game, and they brought in, who was it? They brought in Henny. Yeah, Henny. Which, no, then, he was supposed to. Well, he ain't new. He ain't a young guy. He's been around. So it's not like you're throwing in, some sort of, rookie from the University of Utah and having to put him in there. But, and yeah, he won the game for him or whatever. He wasn't new, so it wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah, but that was creepy looking. Fucking Mahomes' fucking legs just not working. It looked like fucking like Leo Santa Cruz fighting Tank Davis. That's what his legs look like. So he's still in concussion protocol as of 10 p.m. Pacific time on January 20th. It hasn't been announced if he's going to be able to play or not. I think they have to announce it, or they have to at least, I don't know, by Friday or some shit like that. I don't know. But if you look at what the betting line's doing, first of all, I didn't even look at the NFC. All right, because no one in their right mind's betting that. I know Green Bay is probably favorited, and Green Bay should roll Tampa Bay. But you never know. Or, sometimes you do know, but this is one of those games that's like, well, fuck, what the hell? Tampa Bay wasn't supposed to beat New Orleans that bad. How can you predict, 2 or 3 fourth quarter interceptions, right? Who knows? Green Bay should roll that, but I don't fucking care. I'm a little too concerned about it to bet it. That's kind of that's the better way of saying that. And then we look at AFC, and I just looked at it before we started. Basically, it's an even money bet right now. Kansas City's favored by 3. But if you talk to Vegas, usually it's 2.5 to 3 points for home field advantage in football. That they may have readjusted that this year, I don't know. But basically, if you see a 2.5 or 3 point spread, and the home team is at, it's an even money bet. The reason it's even money bet right now is because any real money hasn't started coming in because Mahomes is still questionable. If Mahomes is out and you're getting 3 points, I mean, the Bills are running that if Mahomes is out. If Mahomes is in, I would probably look to them to the Chiefs to win by about 7. So I would say if it's still 3 by the time you're laying your bet and Mahomes is in, I would take Kansas City. If Mahomes is out and you're getting 3 points still, fucking Bills all day. It won't, however, unlike most people, I'm not going to sit here and say it's going to be a goddamn rout. I'm not going to sit there and say it's going to be 45-10 because, like I said, Chad Henne has been around. All right, yeah, he hasn't started a whole lot and he hasn't played a whole lot recently and he hasn't, whatever, but he's not new. So it's not going to be a blow. It won't be close. If Mahomes is out, it's not going to be close. It's going to be 10 to 17 points the entire game. It's not going to look like Kansas City's ever going to have a chance, but they're not going to get embarrassed. It's not going to be one of those fucking, early season college football games where Alabama beats the University of Iowa Southern or whatever, where 76-3. No, it'll be a game worth watching, but yeah, Buffalo rolled it. So as far as picking the game, I don't know. I told you how to bet the game, but I don't know how to pick it. And so the way my betting predictions have gone, you should probably do the exact opposite of what I just fucking said. So if Mahomes is out, Bills lose. If Mahomes is in, Bills win. So there it is. Now I've covered all my bases. So now I'm wrong or right the same amount. So I think that's all I got for you assholes this week. I'm a little tired, so I appreciate you sticking with me. I will, I don't know what I got for next week. Again, the inauguration was kind of a snooze fest. Not really a snooze fest, just, for what I'm trying to do, it wasn't worth what it was supposed to be. But beyond that, like I said, I'm a little bit off today. So I appreciate you assholes sticking with me for as long as you did. And if you did it all, and if you continue to listen, I have a announcement coming up soon about my listenership. So be on the lookout for that. Anyway, let's see. I made sure this time. I remembered. I made sure to tell Randy we gotta lace him up. I'd be giving him a slight break because, maybe he's just been busy. I don't know. But answer the bell, buddy. You have two options. I told you both those options. Let's get this done. All right. Well, if there's nothing else, and I don't think there is, I want to thank 10 Barrel Brewing for the fantastic beer this week, the Apocalypse IPA. And I want to thank all my listeners. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. We'll see what happens with this Biden thing this next week. With that being said, I will see you all next week.